technologically illiterate people had to become literate because they were motivated by money. So you're motivated by a few dollars, but you're not motivated by a permanent paradise? That's ridiculous.
And you don't have that hunger anymore, and then obviously things start to fall apart.
I had the choice to make. Do you go to trial and end up getting 10 years and end up being a sex offender on a crime you didn't commit?
That was the first time, like, somebody told me something that, like, I couldn't see or touch, and I believed it.
Islam teaches you prevention and not cure. Prevention over the cure.
It's obviously, everybody see the live stream. They see you an imam giving knowledge, and they actually, everybody who watches, like, sometimes hold you to a high esteem. So now they look at you like you're infallible, like you just this angel. One thing I wanted to talk about is everyone has desires and everything like that, as going to seek knowledge and everything like that. I wanted to know, how did you transition into seeking knowledge, also being married at the same time?
Understood.
How did you get married?
Clear.
Yes.
Clear. Well, I mean, like you said, the hood, right?
Right.
The dunya.
Yes.
Philly, Bronx. Same difference. All the same. You know, wherever you are, suburbs are, you know, you got desires. And you either going to control those desires.
Yes.
Be patient. Protect yourself.
Right.
Or once again, you're going to fall statistic.
Right.
I don't even like to use victim anymore. Statistic. We're just dealing with decimals now.
Yes.
The majority of young men by this age, they're already lost.
Yes.
Sexually. Mentally, physically, they're gone. The average girl by this age is what? It's gone.
Yes.
So if you don't protect yourself by Allah's help, if Allah doesn't purify you, you're going to go along with what everyone else is doing. And that's zina.
No.
Let alone, I mean, that was in the 90s, our generation, era now, and, you know, it's the LGBT, you know, homo, lesbian type of vibe. You know, so, you know, either you're going to protect yourself or fall victim.
Right.
All right? And dunya is a beast. You know, long, sharp claws, you know, long fangs. And it's going to bite you, and it's going to sink its teeth deep into your flesh if you don't protect yourself from that beast.
Mm-hmm.
So fasting, getting married, staying busy. Even if it's with something, stay busy. Go play basketball. Let that keep your mind off of the other haram stuff. You know what I'm saying? So it's not a joke. It isn't a game. And the Prophet ﷺ's advice is for young men and young women to get married.
Yes.
Because getting married, it protects your mind, your body, and your soul. It protects your mind from sickness. And we all know the effects of mental sickness and sexual sickness. You know, a person's mind being sick. Unfortunately, Allahul Musta'an. And a person's heart being dirty and defiled.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Let alone your physical body, what zina will do to your body, making you weak. The different illnesses and the diseases that you'll get, as it states in the hadith. وَلَمْ تَظْهِرِ الْفَاحِشَةُ فِي قَوْمٍ قَطْ إِلَّا ابْتُلُوا بِالْأَمْرَاضِ وَالْأَوْجَاعِ الَّتِي لَمْ تَكُنْ فِي أَسْلَافِهِمْ أَوْ كَمَا جَاءَ بِهَذَا الْمَعْنَى. The narration states about people who do certain sins and how to be punished with different unprecedented punishments. And from that hadith, it states, وَلَمْ تَظْهَرْ فَاحِشَةٌ فِي قَوْمٍ قَطْ, is that whenever there's fahisha, lewdness, obscenity, this sexual, you know, misbehaving, whenever that's a prevalent in the people, the hadith says, they will be punished. They will be tested with illnesses and sicknesses that never existed in their ancestors.
We see it today.
Think about venereal disease.
Yes.
How long has venereal disease been around? But you go back certain years, there's no mention of it.
Yes.
Let alone of new illnesses, whether it's made on a petri dish, in a laboratory or not. But the moral of the story is 9 out of 10 times it's coming from sexual contact.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So if you're not using needles and this and that, it's coming from sex. So illegal sex in Islam, the fahisha haram, it will destroy your soul.
Yes.
It will destroy your mind. It will mess your mind up. You can't concentrate.
Yes.
Basketball. How many people don't practice because they're thinking about what?
Woman. I've seen people lose scholarships because of that. Get kicked out the university.
Can't concentrate because of the girls, right? That's unfortunate. And of course, as we just explained, is that it will destroy your physical body, causing your flesh to rot. And just think about HIV and AIDS. Just think about it. How it attacks your defense system. That's deep. 100%. This illness, that illness, it causes you to get sick. You have these types of bumps and lumps, blah, 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 blah. But AIDS is different. HIV is different. It takes down your shield. So the smallest, simplest thing can tear you to pieces. That's amazing if you think about it. So therefore, you got to protect yourself for student knowledge. Now, how do you maintain seeking knowledge, being poor, studying, being devoted, dedicated, obsessed, and taking care of a wife? That's a challenge. And of course, we lived that challenge. I got married relatively early. You know what I'm saying? So that's a challenge. You have to seek Allah's help. That's first and foremost.
No.
Second of all, you got to prioritize. If you got a pie chart, your ratio, how much of it goes to knowledge, how much of it goes to dunya and your wife. And thirdly, you got to make sure that you marry a woman that's on what you on.
Yes.
If I'm playing basketball, I got my name is in the paper every week. I got scouts coming to my game. My girlfriend in high school, she got to be someone who understands my lifestyle.
Okay.
I'm a basketball player. If you're jealous against basketball, if it takes too much of your time, if you don't like me coming home sweaty, I got to go in the shower, you need to get a different type of boyfriend. You need a boyfriend who's academic or who plays something else. But basketball is my life. Basketball is my everything. My dream is to go to college. My dream is to go to the NBA. My dream is to play basketball overseas. If your girlfriend, we're just making an example now.
Yes.
If she don't understand that and respect that and obey that, then you're at fault for your career going down the drain. So it's no different in seeking knowledge. You got to marry a woman that understands that seeking knowledge is your life. And seeking knowledge, I said this before and I'll say it again, that's your first wife. And if she's not okay with polygamy and polygyny, then you need to get another woman.
Yes.
Because it's going to be many, many hours, me and these beautiful women is going to be spending time.
Facts.
It's going to be many, many hours in which a lot of money I'm going to spend on what? My books. And if you're jealous or insecure, you got to find somebody that don't read as much. So that's the mentality that you got to have. Of course, what I say now, hindsight, right?
Yes.
The Prophet ﷺ told us about his hajj. If I knew now what I knew then, right? Hindsight, maturity in life.
Yes.
You grow, you evolve. Experience is the best teacher. I always say it to my kids now. Experience is the best teacher. So you learn things now that we didn't know back then. But I always had that hunger, always. And alhamdulillah, I can brag and I can boast about that. I always had that hunger, and I always knew that if it came down to friend, wife, whatever, and knowledge had to come first.
Right.
Knowledge had to come first. So that's first and foremost. Second of all thirdly is that from the beauty of knowledge, giving dawah and teaching classes, is that Allah will provide you with a wife. You'll have people that'll come to you because you're in the right place at the right time. Not, I'm the man, or I'm this, or I'm that, popular, girls like you, you're cute, you're taught, la 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 la. Just by you serving Allah's servants, you teaching the knowledge, Allah will make things possible for you. Allah will bring things your way. So my advice, of course, my personal story, is that if you're trying to get married and you're a student of knowledge, number one, you got to be able to manage both. And you got to realize that the woman that you marry has to be a woman who has similar goals and interests. She got to be a basketball girlfriend, a basketball wife, like I say, a military wife.
Yes.
They know right now my husband's in Korea. He's in Germany. He's on his base in Japan. He'll be back in 4 months. It's that simple.
Correct.
They're daughters of military women. Mm-hmm. And when he come home, he's going to spend time, blah, 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 the kids. But right now, he's serving his country. And so it's unwise for someone in the military to marry a woman that demands, where you at? When you coming home? I need to see you 24 hours, 25 hours. It's only 24 hours out the day. How much time you want? But she want 25. That's unwise. Right. And the man's at fault. So therefore, that's number one. Who you marry, being married and being a student of knowledge, it can be done if you can multitask. Some of us don't have the ability to multitask. Your brain might not be strong enough to handle a woman with her physical, spiritual, and emotional needs and knowledge. But if you can, then do so. And of course, what good is it seeking knowledge if your mind is sick, if your heart is sick, if you're twisted sexually? What good is it you seeking knowledge?
Yes.
So from one aspect, getting married should take precedence, protection.
No.
And from another aspect, seeking knowledge takes precedence, because once you do marry, it's going to be responsibilities. You're going to have to pay bills. You're going to have to take care of babies, buy Pampers, baby wipes.
Yes.
How much a box of Pampers costs? And then the baby's gonna be what? Running through those Pampers, newborn. So somebody gotta buy a box of Pampers. So if you find a wife that's willing to be patient with you, she wants to study as well, she loves you and admires you for what you're doing, bismillah.
Right.
And if you don't find that right woman, don't play yourself. Go overseas, even if it's a couple of years, finish the language program.
Yes.
Finish the college, put something under your belt. Then you will easily get married.
Yeah.
And the last thing I will say about this is, or before that, is you can't be scared to get married at a young age. Put your trust in Allah. And you don't got to be perfect. You learn things as you go along. And I've mentioned this before, different parents, they tell their children, don't get married, you just want to have sex. Oh, no, you're irresponsible. Maybe that's the truth. But you want me to have the permissible sex or the haram sex? And bring home disease. Bring home an illegitimate baby. Bring home shame. Lose my soul. Would you like that? But at the end of the day is, as parents, they treat their children as if the children are required to be perfect.
Facts.
Oh, but you weren't perfect. You aren't perfect right now. We live in the same household. You telling me to be this perfect angel, but look, your mom, blah, blah, blah. I talked to uncle. He told me about you, what you used to do back in the 70s. He showed me the pictures. So you weren't perfect. Why am I required to be perfect for trying to do the right thing? So sometimes you can't take the advice of your parents when it comes to protecting yourself. Last but not least is me having, studied in Medina. I got people who like me, who love me, people who hate me, people who love me, in the form of hate, whatever the case may be. But nobody can take away from me that I got the degrees from Medina.
Right.
So the moral of the story is once you study, if you put in 4 years, 5 years of hardcore study and you get married, that will remain with you forever.
No.
So you get married, you have children, you gotta work, you gotta pay bills, but at least you got the knowledge under your belt and no one can take that away from you. And that Medina degree, inshallah, that degree, Allah Alam, the knowledge on that degree, that one degree may last you 20, 30, 40 years from the knowledge that you got in Medina. So sometimes you need to get that out the way. And don't mess yourself up chasing a woman and dropping out of school. And being from Philly, when I was there in 2002, I think it was like maybe, I honestly counted, it was like maybe 14 brothers that were in Medina University from Philly and on the outskirts, Chester or whatever the case may be. Over 14 brothers. And out of those 14 brothers, I think only like 2 graduated. And most of them dropped out, left for one reason or another. In most cases, it's because of a woman. And there's nothing bad about a woman. We're not trying to be, misogynist and downplay women or chauvinists, but it's reality. And Allah, He tells us, وَخُلِقَ الْإِنسَانُ ضَعِيفًا, man has been created in weakness. And some of the pious predecessors, they would say concerning weakness, إِنَّ الرَّجُلْ يَفْقَدُ عَقْلَهُ أَمَامَ الْمَرْأَةِ. They say that a man loses his mind in front of a woman. And if that ain't the truth, the biggest fitna, what is the truth? And many of the Salaf, they would say, إِنَّ الْإِلْمَ لَا يَضِيعُ بَيْنَ فَخِذَ الْمَرْأَةِ.
No.
All right, they would say, excuse me, hopefully no one finds this offensive, chauvinistic or whatever, but they say that knowledge will be lost between a woman's thighs. They would say this. Knowledge will be lost and squandered between a woman's thighs. So the moral of the story is that you got to realize that a good wife behind you is going to make you or break you. You devoted, you dedicated, you obsessed, inshallah khair. You're weak, you don't have that spine, that backbone. Your wife complained, the kids are hungry, the kids are sick, we need to go back home, she needs this surgery, Abdurrahman needs his braces, the braces, we can't do it in Medina. Next thing you know, you take and next thing you know, that's your Medina opportunity, go on. And Abdurrahman, he could have waited a couple months to get his braces. You could have went to Jeddah or Riyadh, you could have went to a better city and got the surgery. You didn't have to leave and stop your studies. That's the moral of the story.